Hi United Families, this video is going to talk about our VO camera system and how it could be utilized during a game. As you can see, the VO camera system has three components with it. It has the tripod itself, it has the VO camera, and then it has sandbags for the tripod to stabilize it. Now the tripod will break down. It's going to be approximately 5.5 to 6 feet tall. So it is fairly large. In order to transport this, you'd probably need a fairly large SUV or a truck or a car with the capability of like folding down the seats and putting it through. If I put this in my SUV, it normally hangs over the second row seats because as you can see, it's quite long. But when this is locked in place, this little knob here, you can pick it up and you can hold the tripod to move it around. So I'll go ahead and unlock this. The tripod will fold down. I'll lock it in place in the down position. There is another knob up here which could be used if you were on a hill. You can adjust that, but I'm not aware of any soccer fields in our area that are right on a hill. The rest of the tripod, it has extensions. You attach the camera to the top. We'll talk about that in a second. After you attach the camera to the top, you can telescope it up, lock this extension in place, unlock the other one, telescope that one up, and then lock that in place. And then the game will be able to be recorded from an elevated position. So let's talk a little bit about stabilizing the tripod. It is critical that when the tripod is used, that you have to have sandbags on these legs to stabilize the tripod. We've seen and heard of many reports of these tipping over in the wind. When you have an elevated surface and it starts to have the wind blowing against it, it's pretty easy for the physics to take over and for it to tip over. So it has to be anchored anytime it's used. You'll have 3 sandbags included, and the sandbags you can just place by the outer edge, and it's a saddle bag, so it will fit over those 3 supports. So you can put 1 sandbag by each support, and that will help secure the tripod so it won't tip over. Now of note, this is certainly, the sandbags will do a good job. At a certain point though, it might get windy enough where it just wouldn't be advisable to use the system. And if that's the case, we'll certainly reach out ahead of time so you're aware of that. But if you're using it and perhaps it's windier than expected, use your better judgment on whether it's safe to put the tripod up or not. Now the camera system, the camera is in this included hard case. We have some little lift knobs here. If you lift up there, then the latch will come undone. And then inside the camera case, you'll see there is a charger for charging it. Most cases you won't use that. We'll charge it up before it's picked up. And here is the VO camera itself. You can see the camera has the 2 lenses. That's what will record the game. And then on the bottom of the camera, there's the plate that will mount to the tripod. There's a power button. And then right over here, this can actually pull up, and that would be where the camera would be charged if you plugged it in. This is where it would be plugged into the internet to upload the game footage. What we're looking to do here is we'll have the camera charged ourselves, so that way when you pick it up, all you need to do is record the event, and then once it's dropped off at the end of the day, we'll charge it and upload the game footage, so that way it will be ready for the next team to use. Now to put this into the tripod, well, I guess first what you need to do is you need to turn the camera on. So I'll hold the power button here for a few seconds. You'll see the light will turn green. And then once the light is on and it's been on for a few seconds, then I'm gonna go ahead and put the tripod. You'll see now the light's blinking. So now it's ready to connect to my phone. Now the tripod here, there is this latch. So I need to put that latch out And sometimes to do that, you need to adjust this little gold lever. And so if I slide this gold lever, now that will unlock this so I can turn it out, and you'll see this little gold piece pops up. So what that does is now when I put this camera in here and it hits that gold piece, you'll see it snaps this lever shut. And then I can snap this gold lever, and now that locks this in place. So now the camera won't come undone. Once the camera is locked into the tripod, then you're ready to connect to the camera and start the game film process. Once you have the camera turned on, then you'll be able to hook up to the camera to start the recording process. So there's a VO app that you can download, and once you have that VO app, you can sign in with your VO account, and then you'll be able to manipulate the camera. So when I click on the VO app, you'll see that a list of cameras show up, and I've hooked up to this camera before, so you can see there's our camera name, VOCam 1620A. The first time you hook up to a camera, you'll have to enter the password to the camera, and that password is printed right underneath the camera itself, but it's kickoff with an exclamation point. I believe it's the same for all VO cameras. So what I'll do is I'll click on the VO camera name. My phone is going to ask me if it's okay to join this network. I'm going to hit join. And then what is happening is that the phone is now hooking up to the camera. Once it connects, it's going to show me a preview of what this camera is seeing. What you want to make sure you do is you want to make sure that you can see both or all of the corners of the field in the preview. As long as you can see that, then you can go ahead and you might need to move the camera up or back so that way it works. Now this will happen occasionally. Mine popped up and it said unable to connect. So I'm just going to hit retry. It will ask to join again, and I'll try to join the camera. Occasionally I might need to swipe up and then close the app and then start it again. Sometimes if you do that, that helps it connect. So as this is connecting, one of the other things you want to make sure is when you're recording, you always want the sun to be behind the camera. So that would be the primary factor when you're trying to determine should you set this up on the coach's side or the parent side of the field. All right, now I can see that the camera has loaded. I can turn my phone sideways here. So if I were on a soccer field here, I'd be looking to make sure that I can see all of the different corners of the field. Once I'm ready and that looks good, then I'll go ahead and hit the start recording button. Now, when this starts to record, you'll start to see a timeline. And then on the camera itself, you'll notice that once it's recording, the button or the light underneath it will begin to flash green. So if it's flashing green, that's how you know that the camera is recording. Now, at this point, you might want to go into your phone settings and then shut off your Wi-Fi, because if your phone is hooked up to this camera and that camera doesn't really have a Wi-Fi source, then your phone isn't going to work with anything that would require it to have Wi-Fi. When you're ready to shut off the camera at the end of the game, you can hook back up to it just like you did before, and then you'd want to go in and hit stop recording. It's going to confirm you or ask you to confirm that you want to stop recording. I'll go ahead and do that. And then after I stop, it's going to have me name the video. So once I name the video, I hit OK, and now that video is stored on this camera. At the end of the day, then once you are done recording, again, this little gold lever prevents this from opening. So I need to pop open this gold lever, and then I can pop open this gray piece to take out the camera. To shut off the camera, you just hold down the power button for a few seconds until it starts to blink red. The camera will blink red sometimes for 20, 30, 40 seconds. Once it's done blinking red, then the camera is shut off, and then you can put the camera back in the case. When you're all done with the game, We'll work on an assignment to either hand it off to someone else, perhaps at the same complex, or to drop it off at a location. And then at the end of the day, sometimes we might get to record 2 or 3 games in a day. We'll get the camera back in our hands, we'll upload the footage to the internet, and then overnight it will upload and start to process, so the game film will be available shortly after that. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any questions about the VO system or how you could utilize it, don't hesitate to let us know. But we're hoping we can get some support to transport the system so that way we can get as many games recorded as possible. Thank you very much and have a great day.